Greetings, students. I just wanted to take a few minutes to introduce myself and to walk through the syllabus with you as it relates to Social Work 3350, Understanding Systems of Privilege and Oppression. So for those of you who don't know me nor are taking me as a professor for the first time, my name is Richard Coleman. I am a licensed clinical social worker. I have been working in the field for about 39 years this year. I've been teaching at the College of Scholastica for the last 10. Um, I am married. I have 4 adult children and 2 grandchildren. I like to travel. I love music. And I also love being a social worker. So I just wanted to kind of take a few minutes to kind of familiarize you with who I am. Um, Pretty much what you see is what you get in terms of me as a social worker. But also, I also like to preface a couple of things as well too. This is a very important class for your future as social workers. I've also had the good fortune to actually do some anti-racism work, some inclusive excellence work with the school. I've worked in government with the anti-racism leadership team out of Ramsey County for a number of years, putting together policy, mandates, and trainings for government agencies. I'm also a trained race dialogue facilitator through the YWCA, where I do community group facilitation discussions on race and systems of oppression. So that's just a little bit about me, and I've been doing that for a number of years, and I really do enjoy doing that particular work. The other thing I wanted to kind of share with you all before we got started is that a lot of the information that you're going to be receiving and studying about in this particular class, some of it will be a little bit difficult to digest. So I just want to make you aware that beforehand, there might be some exercises or some things that you'll have to do that may be a trigger for you. And I would encourage you to reach out to myself as well as to take care of yourself if those things do happen for you. The other thing I want to just also just kind of clear the air with as well is that, you know, as an African American man, I just want to make sure that all of my students know and understand and are very clear that my teaching this class has nothing to do with my own personal agenda about issues of oppression and racism. So just to kind of clear the air in terms of that, because sometimes folks will come to the conclusion that if I've got a person who's a person of color, then they've got an axe to grind as it relates to race. I just want to assure you that I've done this work long enough to know that that doesn't serve anyone well. So just to let you know that that's where I'm coming from. All the information that I share with you during the course of this class is researched information that can be referenced. So it's not just my opinion that I'm sharing. I'm just giving you what the data and what the research actually says. If there are occasions where I share an opinion, then I will qualify that by saying this is my opinion as your instructor. But you are not bound by my particular opinion on regards to anything. So I just wanted to make sure that we have that clear understanding so that there's no awkwardness as we kind of move forward and do that particular work. So with that, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to pull up our syllabus and we're going to just kind of walk through it just quickly here to talk about what you're in store for the next 8 weeks. All right, so class starts on May the 23rd. I'm going to have the shell open on the 22nd. This is my cell phone, so feel free to give me a call, send me a text, shoot me an email, or if you would like to meet in person, we can do that via Zoom, and that's the Zoom link here. So basically, the syllabus just kind of lays out what we're going to be doing in terms of this particular class. So we're going to spend a lot of time just really looking at the various systems of oppression and privilege that exist in our country and in our world, and just kind of really bring them to a point where you hopefully walk away from this class having a much better understanding of how the world is working and how folks are not talking about specific parts of how our world actually works. And they'll also give you some tools and give you the chance and the choice to think about whether you want to become an ally in this particular work, and it's lifelong work. One great thing about this class is that I've searched and searched and searched for textbooks, and so these are the textbooks that I found that I really liked. They're a little dated, So what I did is rather than have you guys buy books, I actually just went through and I took the things out that I wanted you to read, the chapters out, and I just scanned those, and they are actually in the shell, so you don't have to buy a book for this course. Yay. Um, there'll be some other articles that I'll be sharing with you, and a series of YouTube videos, as well as video lectures that I will have created for each of the classes. So we'll scroll on down a little bit, and we'll just kind of look at what we're going to be doing, some of your assignments. So we're going to hit these particular competency areas: advancing human rights, engaging in diversity practice, human rights, social environment, environmental justice, and engaging in difference in practice. So most of your assignments will cover these areas. Uh, Under the learning outcomes, these are the things that we'll be exploring in greater detail, and these will be the assignments that we'll utilize to actually measure how well you're able to do in those particular areas. So A through F course, so we don't want to even talk about F's because you're all going to get A's. The key, I think, to being successful in this class are a couple of different things. One is to stay abreast, so I would encourage you to go into the shell every week and take a look at the readings that are there, watch the videos, and do the assignments, because there will be a weekly assignment pretty much every week. There will be some weeks where there will actually be 2 assignments as well, too, so you might want to check ahead to make sure that we don't miss that Sunday deadline as well. But this is how we'll do the scoring. There'll be one short paper, there'll be a couple of quizzes, there'll be some discussion posts. And on those discussion posts, I really would encourage you to really just be open and honest and respectful in terms of your communication with your colleagues, because I think you learn a lot from each other as well. There is an ethnic introduction exercise that really helps you do a little bit more of exploration around ethnicity as it relates to your family. So you'll have to go and have some conversations with older family members to kind of gather some of this information. So there'll be a number of different things you'll do. There'll be a hidden in plain sight, which is really kind of a fun little exercise where you kind of just surf the net and you find examples of systems of privilege and oppression and how they work and share those. The letter to Dr. McIntosh is a writing assignments in APA, but that's really looking at reading this particular article and responding to her in the form of a letter, but making sure that you use reputable sites to actually back up the opinions that you share about the things that you'll be reading. And then your final assignment will be an action plan. This will be a group project, so maybe 2 to 3 people per group. You'll get together via email, and your job will be to come up with a particular plan to theoretically end a system of privilege or oppression. So by answering a series of questions and looking at some things in terms of how we want to move forward. So the introduction that we're doing here now, these will be what your weeks will consist of. We're going to spend some time looking at what privilege and oppression actually is. We're going to spend 2 weeks on racism. There's a part 1 and there's a part 2. Week 4, we're going to be looking at sexism, genderism, and heterosexism. Week 5, we're going to look at class bias as well as religious oppression. 6 will be ableism and ageism. Then we're going to spend some time with Eurocentrism, language bias, ideology, and the various environmental racism, and well as systems of oppression, and really understanding what they are. And then the final week, we'll talk about the future. We'll talk about the resistance. We'll talk about the various things that you will be empowered to actually do as you're moving forward as a social work student. So again, just wanted to take a few minutes just to kind of introduce myself, to review what the class is going to entail, and to just kind of let you know what's going to be there. I thank you very much for your time and attention. I'm very glad that you have decided to take this class. I think it will give you a much broader perspective, regardless of whether you go into social work or some other profession, that you'll be able to see what's happening for you, for the clients, for the people that you serve with, for your families, in terms of how our society works. And sometimes it works well and sometimes it doesn't work well. But you'll have that information and you can make a conscious choice about how you choose to respond to that. So with that, thank you and good luck with this class.